my name is Ashley Baker. I'm a graduate student studying costume design at the University of Oregon, and today I'm going to be talking about different wig styling and braiding techniques. The purpose of this is to show you different ways to style and roll your hair for a wig, as well as different braiding techniques and what happens when you do those different roll techniques. So the materials that you're going to need is your wig head, the stand that it's on. You're going to need your corsage pins, rollers. I'm using my own materials for this. My students have stuff that's slightly different. However, it does the same thing. You're going to need your brushes and combs, twill tape, end wraps. Pull these guys out. They're just little bits of tissue paper. You're going to need a few bobby pins, and then a spray bottle, steamer, and a garbage bag. Then I've also been using these duckbills here to section off the hair as needed. So what I've done with this wig already is I've taken 3-inch sections with the hair out of the front so I can begin styling different sides here. So I'm going to start off with the right side here. I'm going to get this out of the way. A bit more. There we go. And what I'm going to start off doing for this first technique is what's called a Marcel wave. And to do that, you're going to need your twill tape. And you're going to want to get the twill tape damp but not soaking wet. So I've already gotten this kind of damp before, but I just gave it a little extra spray. And what you're going to start off doing is taking your twill tape, setting it right at the top of the hairline that you're working with. And if you have a lace front wig, you're going to want to stick your first pin through the twill tape and the other layer of twill tape on the wig lace. Then you're going to take your piece here and you're going to go towards the back of the wig. You're going to grab another corsage pin, and at the back of that 3-inch piece, you're going to stick another pin in. And you're going to go down. And this just depends on how big you want the wave to be, or the little distance between each wave. So I'm thinking a little over 1 inch like that is good for me. So now I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to move it back to the front again, and I'm going to stick it into my twill tape. Get all that hair out of the way. And I think I'm going to do one more wave here. I actually want this to go a little bit higher up. That looks better. Okay. I'm going to do one more across here. Those of you who are in costume crafts in fall quarter this year will remember this project. It's exactly the same. So then from here, what I'm going to want to do is take one of my combs and push this hair towards the front. So you can see some of this hair wants to do it more than others. And that's just because of the way that the wig is done here. So I'm just going to try my best to get it to move the way I want it to. The goal is to push the hair out and in the direction that you want it to go, so that when you set it, it'll get the natural wave that you want. So then I'm going to hold here, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction with the back here. And this hair at the bottom here doesn't quite want to sit. Just going to add a couple more pins. so I can get it to do what I want. There we go. So now I have one wave going one way and one wave going the other way. Marcel wave. And then you're going to take the rest of the hair down here and do pin curls, just like how you did them. Ooh, I unlatched my wig stand. Hold on. That didn't sound good. Technical error. Oop, there we go. Okay, we're back. So then you're just gonna take the hair at the bottom here and you just need to do 2 to 3 to 5 pin curls, just depending on how much hair you have. I'm just gonna do 2 here at the bottom. I don't have too much. And it's just a simple wrapping it around your fingers and doing the X with the pins again. I'm not having any luck with pins today. These ones, it's a little bit more important that you get them to be prettier. Ooh, I have enough for 3. Great. Okay. The prettier these ones are, the better they'll come out. It's also really important with these ones that you don't get too much hair caught into these pins because they'll add an awkward kind of crimp to the hair that you don't want to see. So I try to avoid that. And there's another way that you can do these where you can kind of use your corsage pins and hold them down and flatten them to the surface of the wig head. So that's another way to do it. If you wanted to try that, you can also take it. Just get this on real quickly. This is really rough, but I can show you really fast. You can take a duckbill and do the same thing. Just grab a little chunk, pull it under, and it'll hold. This one isn't a very good example. Okay. Just gonna do this last pin curl here. I'm gonna make it kind of a small one. And what you get with these pin curls is a very natural kind of looking curl, especially if it's like just slightly off from each other, the way hair naturally wants to curl. Okay. There we go. 3 pin curls. Moving on to the other side. When you're moving your wig head and the hair goes over the table, you're going to want to pick the hair up so that it doesn't get all tangled along the wig stand. So on this side, what we are going to do is spiral curls. And these are going to be done using your smaller rollers. So I'll pull out what those should look like for you. So they're fairly small. You guys either have these ones or these guys. You also have these super tiny rollers that I don't have, which are this size. You can do them with this size or this size. These are called dime size rollers. This size, these are just small. They're really, really small. And the nice thing about this style of roller compared to these guys is that you can pin anywhere in them and the pin will go through. Also, you can change the size of it to whatever you need by pushing the mesh in here, in or out. Whereas with these guys, they just come in two set sizes. So for this side, I want to take this top layer up here. I'm going to get this hair out of the way. Go. And I'm going to do some spiral curls on the top here. So I want to take this top section here and separate it. Better. Okay. And you want at least one going towards the face and one going away from the face. So when I mean towards the face, I mean the way the hair is being rolled this way towards the face, whereas away from the face, it's being rolled this way. So I'm going to end up having to do 4 of these actually because this wig just has so much hair. I'm going to section it out again. And again. And for the spiral curl, I'm going to do it away from the face, so I want to turn this away from the face as well. Really get that going in there. So this is one of the times where you do want to actually twist the hair. And you want to get it real tight all the way down. And then when you get to the bottom, you want to grab on your end wraps. You want to cover the end of your wig's hair in this wrap. It protects it and keeps it from getting damaged. You want to spray that a few times with the spray bottle, get it nice and damp. It also helps when you're getting it onto the roller as well. So now I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap it around the roller and I'm going to start it at the bottom here because it's going to want to roll on top of itself. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to keep a bit of tension in it as I'm rolling it up. Too loose and it won't want to roll properly and you'll get it'll just come apart. It's better to go tighter. Too tight you may hurt the wig, but it's really a matter of touch over time when you start to figure out how it wants to work. And there we go. I have one spiral curl going away from the face. So now I take my pins here and I just search for the holes. And I can pin this down. I want to go this way actually. And I usually do one on each side here. And there we go. So there's my away from the face. And now I'm going to do one towards the face. So I'm going to roll the hair towards the face here. Twist it rather. I'm going all the way down again. And get that end wrap on. Spray it. Start at the bottom again. Start rolling it up. And there we go. Now I need to find the little holes again. Do one on each side. And I have spiral curls. So now I can take my hair over here. I'm gonna start doing some sausage curls, which is the same thing, except you don't have that step of doing the spiral. So this one, I wanna do it towards the face, I think. So I'm gonna grab it. I don't really think I like the way it's sitting right now quite yet. So I'm gonna grab my comb, make sure I don't have any tangles in it. That feels better. If you're really concerned about it getting really tangled and messy while you're doing this, just spray it with a little bit of water. It's okay to work with it when it's a little bit wet. Getting it completely wet makes it more difficult, I think. But that's just kind of my opinion. So now I've got the hair flat and wet. This time, you don't have to roll it up along the roller like you did with the spiral curls, because you're not dealing with all that extra texture in there. You just roll it on top of itself, and you want to make sure that you're keeping that tension all the way down. Okay, and since it's a lace front, I don't want to pull too terribly tight. I do want that tension there. And if you notice, I didn't quite get it as tense as I want it here. That's going to show up later. It's not the end of the world right now. So I'm going to show you one more here. There's another little sausage curl before I move on. This wig has a lot of hair. So this one's going to go away from the face. I'm just sectioning out the hair a little better. Okay, that's better to me. So it's definitely important when you're doing this rolling that you're making sure that you're pulling it in the way that you want it to sit. So right now, this wig head is moving in a way that I don't really like. So I'm having to use my knee to steady it, which is a very awkward position. However, I have my wig in a place where I feel good getting a roll out of it. Get it on the roller there. And I'm going to start rolling it away from the face. So if you notice, I'm rolling it so that the direction of the curl goes towards the back of the head instead. Keeping that tension as I'm rolling this on. And there we go. We have another roller. So I'm gonna leave the rest of this for now, and I'm gonna talk about doing the top of the head here. So on here, we're gonna play with on base, forward of base, and basically behind back base. So what happens when you do that, I'm gonna take a bigger roller for these, is you get different levels of dimension with the curl. So if I were to take this section here, grab it like this, and I was to roll on base, it means that this roller is going to sit right on top of where this hair is. And that's usually the default. If I were to set it a little bit behind where this hair is sitting, that's called behind base or back base. And that'll cause the curl to start further back, so you're gonna get less dimension here in the front. However, if I go over base, so basically forward of where the hair is, that's going to create a lot more volume in the front. So if you want that big, like kind of 80s glam hair, that's probably how you're gonna get it. So you want, for this first part, 1 to 2 overhead forward of base curls or rolls. So I'm gonna take this piece, I'm gonna brush it. It's kind of a bigger piece, but I think I can get it in here. And I'm gonna go overhand with the hair. And you can't see it because it's really high up right now, but I am still putting those end wraps on to protect the end of the wig. I'm making sure that this is pulled over and forward, so that as I'm rolling this hair down, it'll want to land there. So an overhand means the way that I'm rolling it right now on the head, where the hair is going over the roller. So I managed to kind of screw that up, and it's not going over. So you know what, we're gonna make this on base. I don't like this at all. Actually, we're gonna redo this one. So I think this is an important lesson. Not every time you roll will you get a good roll, and that's okay. That's why end wraps are plentiful. So that's okay to make mistakes, so long as you don't cut the wig or dye it a permanent color that you can't fix. Okay, so now I have this overhand. All right, this one's coming out better. There's so much hair in this wig. Whoop. Just because a wig has a ton of hair doesn't mean it's always necessarily a better wig. Okay, so that one still turned out on base, but I think I'll just continue that for these first two here. And what I like to do when I'm sectioning out hair like this is I kind of like to create triangles of hair. That way, when it comes out of the rollers, you don't get these strict, straight rows where it's really clear where you put that hair in. Instead, it looks a little bit more natural. this one's just going to be on base as well. So this is trickier than it looks. If you are a shorter person, I recommend finding a chair so that you can reach all the way up. I'm still putting those 2 pins in on each side, and now I have 2 little bits of hair. So underhand is where you take these hair. I'm just going to show you how to do this. I'm running out of time a bit here. So you take the hair. That's not the way we wanted. This is not looking good. Come on. There we go. So this is going to create a curl that's going to go in the opposite direction. So instead of putting the hair on top of the roller, you're putting it underneath, and you're rolling it along the underside. And then you can pin it up. Okay, and then part 2 is going to be about showing you the rest of this, how it looks like, as well as the different braids that I'm going to have you do, and how to seam the wig so that you set the rolls in. See ya!